This is Average Sports.
By your average guys.
Eric.
And Ty.
That
would be so bad.
Yeah. This is Average Sports.
Your average sports.
Average Sports.
Thanks for tuning into another episode
You're
of
listening to Average Sports with your average guys.
Average Sports, average guys, Eric and Ty.
We are back, baby. It's episode 3 of season 5. Woo! Thanks for tuning in to an episode of Average Sports with your average guys. I'm Ty.
Eric.
Ayo. And we've got another good one for you.
Man.
Is it backwards?
It doesn't sound, just doesn't flow. I mean, you are the producer and put all this together. So
okay, I can get first credit every once in a while, but Eric and Ty does
sound.
Yeah, I'll go with that. What are we talking about today, Eric?
We're going to do a little recap, get our reactions on the Super Bowl.
That's right.
And the Olympics.
Mm-hmm. Okay, first of all, then what I want to touch on, I know you got a would you rather, but Super Bowl, dude, the parade was like the big noise. Like, oh, look how pathetic it was. I mean, I don't know. It looked pretty light compared to other cities that have won lately, because we've had a lot of first-time cities.
Yeah, not only other cities that have won lately, but cities that have won for the first time lately. Like, there's a lot of them. Like, you think of the Cavaliers, you think of the
Bucks,
you think of the Bucks, you think of like the Milwaukee Bucks, not the Tampa Bay Bucks.
Right. But that was a bigger celebration. Yeah, the Blues, of course.
Those were huge parades for teams that won for the first time, and yeah, the LA Rams did not show up.
It was a party. It was okay.
Now,
they threw a little
this
party.
also may not help, but the ratings in St. Louis were higher than they were in Los Angeles. The TV ratings.
The jealous X. That's what's going on there. Is what's getting involved. Now, Kroenke and NFL got to be all right, though, because, like, I'm sure money got made back from that lawsuit.
Absolutely, yeah, because they only paid $800 million when they were probably expecting to pay in the billions.
And
the lawsuit was for $5 billion, and they walked away paying $800 million. So,
and the commercial spots were going for like what, $7 million for a 30-second airtime, or $8 million, something like that.
Pretty high, like the
really high. Of course, it's like every year it's a little higher.
Every year it goes up a little bit.
Just add on another $1 million.
Yeah,
crazy. But it was a pretty good game. I like that, there was a lead change at the end of the game, make it dramatic. I kind of feel bad for Cincinnati, though. They really looked like they had it going on, and then just didn't have the last 4 minutes of the game.
They just had no protection for Burrow. I mean, that was the one thing, if you even go back to our episodes when I was saying that Cincinnati had to take someone to protect Burrow, and they ended up taking Jamar Chase, who, let's be real, that was not the wrong pick. That was the right pick, especially looking back at it, of how great Jamar Chase is.
Yeah, no doubt.
But they have a ton of cap space. If they do not protect him, he's going to end up being the next Andrew Luck, where there's so much potential, there's so much talent, but Andrew Luck retired because the Colts never protected him, and he got hit all the time. The Bengals need to go out there and protect Burrow.
Yeah.
For sure.
No doubt.
But, yeah, what a great game. I really enjoyed it. I was happy for the Bengals. I really like some of the Rams players, even though I'm still a little, jaded from living in St. Louis and Kroenke and all that stuff. Even though I was never really a huge Rams fan. It just sucked to lose an NFL team. But, dude, how can you not love Cooper Kupp?
Right.
Like, that's an impossible dude to hate. Now, OBJ, I think everybody hates him, but sure.
And after his injury, it looked like, it was going to be Cincinnati's day to win.
He was having a great game, too.
Yeah.
And the second it happened, they showed the replay, and I was sitting there with some friends we were watching and said, oh, that's an ACL.
Yeah.
Non-contact, that's ACL.
Yeah.
100%.
Didn't look good.
Yeah, it came out the next day or two that's what it was. So,
is he going to have to get surgery? I haven't looked into that.
Tore his ACL. He's going to have surgery.
Is it full torn?
Yeah. That's the report that I remember seeing, is that it was a confirmed ACL tear.
Bummer. All right, well, that's kind of enough about Super Bowl, really. I didn't win any money on it, so there's nothing else to talk about, in my opinion.
No, I didn't win any money on it. I just, congratulations to the Bengals. They had a great season.
Yeah, they did.
What a great season.
Yeah.
I guess congratulations to the Rams. I don't hate Matthew Stafford.
No.
I like him. I'm happy for him moving from Detroit. I mean, he spent his entire career in the abyss of Lions country.
So it's a good way to cap off your career. How many?
Gotta go to sunny California.
Yeah, how many seasons does he really have left? So he's feeling pretty good right now these days. For sure.
Probably no more than maybe 3, maybe 4.
Right.
I mean, he's getting up there. But
yeah. As far as quarterback standards go. All right. Well, how about this would you rather that you like to throw out there? I got to hear it.
I love this. So
You said you got a good one.
Would you rather have a personal maid or a personal chef? Why?
So my maid can't be also a chef.
Correct.
Oh. Does the maid like do laundry? I think that would be it.
Yeah. Maid does cleaning, laundry.
I mean, just like everything but the cooking, basically.
Everything but the cooking.
Domestic chore wise, yeah. I'd take the maid.
You take the maid?
Sure. Yeah, I enjoy cooking more than I like doing all the other stuff. So why remove that?
Yeah.
Just so I can, put more time into doing my socks? Yeah, no thanks.
But I mean, caveat is that your chef is going to create you. I mean, we're talking like Michelin star level.
I mean, that sounds pretty great. Yeah.
I mean, I'm not talking about, Joe Smith.
Well, okay, when you're talking about like finer dining type cuisine, we gotta look at it in an economical format too. Am I having to pay for the food? If I'm getting surf and turf on a regular, I don't want to have to pay for that extra,
Let's just assume that it's no out-of-pocket cost either for the maid or for the chef. Or it's
which includes the food.
Or it's equal cost. Whatever it is, it's equal cost regardless.
Yeah.
And you're doing one of them.
Yeah, I mean, I would still go with the maid, and then I'd start looking at someone with the private chef and go, oh, yeah, that looks pretty good. I wish But, yeah, maid all the way.
It's a tough one because I would love the idea of having all of my meals prepped, made.
Sure.
Like good, healthy.
Huge time saver, yeah.
Huge time saver. They clean up in the kitchen.
Yeah.
The rest of the house, I think maybe I could handle, but if I really was gun to the head, I think I'd probably go to the maid too.
Okay, all right.
Because the maid would then also include ancillary dishes as well.
Ooh, yeah. I mean, okay.
So
Loophole.
I have to do the kid cooking, but then I can leave it in the
Okay, there you go. All right.
The guy or girl.
Yeah.
Clean it up.
Well, gearing back to sports, what else are we going to talk about in this episode?
It's all about, we did a little bit of a Super Bowl recap, but we're also going to talk about the Olympics that just happened.
Got to.
Beijing.
Come on, man.
2022 Winter Olympics.
Yeah, give a shout out if you actually watched it, because it seemed like TV ratings were a little bit low, but you seem to think, Eric, or you saw that streaming, was up. It was pretty popular.
It was the highest streaming audience that has ever happened for the Olympics. Now, obviously, we know that's a shorter time span or time frame that we're looking at compared to just overall TV ratings, and that's what we're used to. But they're like, oh, the viewership was down watching TV. It's like, yeah, but a lot of people were watching it online.
See, I think that's curious, though.
Peacock.
Well, I think that's curious because I know you. Maybe one other person that actually watched the Olympics like pretty regularly.
Yeah.
I spoke to a lot of people like, hey, like you should check out Halfpipe or Slopestyle's pretty cool or the monobob. And people were like, nah, I've been watching. I haven't seen it.
Yeah.
Not interested. That's mostly the reaction I've seen or heard.
That's definitely some of the reaction I've gotten as well too, or that people in general, you and I are in the minority, and part of it is because we grew up in snow sports, that we prefer the Winter Olympics over summer. And most people do feel that they enjoy the summer games more than the winter games.
Yeah.
But even that being the case, the winter games were excellent.
Yeah. I enjoyed
a lot of great competition.
Yeah. Heck yeah.
A lot of really great stories. And, I guess my bounce back question is, do you think something like lower ratings overall, which I think they were relatively comparable, and I think if you include the streaming, I want to say I read this, that the Beijing games had higher ratings than the Tokyo games if you included the streaming.
That's possible, but I also have heard that Tokyo was like a hallmark down year. Like it was noticeably lower. Whether it was, people were protesting, just lost interest.
Yeah, so there's a couple things that at play here, and I would certainly say this for me, not having people in the stands or spectators watching is a huge turnoff. Yeah. We noticed that during COVID, and it is what it is. You got to kind of deal with it. It's the atmosphere that we're living in, but having no fans in the stands kind of...
Yeah, this is a strange phenomenon that you never really considered when you're used to watching popular sports. Like the Super Bowl had a full audience, right? And it was exciting and there was a lot of noise going on. And you watch the Olympics and it was like a very sheltered looking spectator sport, and it did seem to have an effect. Like it just seemed like there's that groupthink thing going on, or herd mentality. this isn't that valuable of an activity going on, because who's there to participate in watching? You just saw a lot of volunteers, it looked like, and then coaches and, a few fans that were allowed in the stands, but it didn't bring on the envy of like, oh, I wish I was there, like it normally does. Like you watch World Cup or other like big international competitions, and you always feel like, at least for me, when I watch it, I want to be there. I wish I was there. It would be awesome. Beijing didn't necessarily give me that. I was grateful just to get the coverage and watch as many sports as I did.
I was certainly thankful of that part too. It kind of reminds me and we get this here in the States quite a bit too. If you live in a city or if you're watching hockey, watch any of those Canadian teams. When an American team goes up there, watch a Canadian hockey team playing at home, it's empty. Or it's like 25% capacity. They just moved to 50% capacity. I mean, that's kind of the same thing that we're dealing with. Like, it's not fun to watch. Like, from home, like you're gonna.
Well, I would say so. I would argue it's still fun to watch. Like I'm still interested, but there is that element of there is something missing there. Like I don't have the FOMO though. That's for sure. I'm like, I wish I was at that sporting event. Yeah. That can happen a lot.
Dude, I mean, there are times, I would, especially working from home, I'd turn on a Cardinals game on a Wednesday at 12 and be like, damn, dude, I'm off, man. Let me just go down there. I can get down there in 15 minutes and get a $4 ticket and go watch the game or just watch an hour of the game and then leave.
Just real quick.
It's worth it.
Yeah, just real quick though, do we think there's any concern then with Olympics in the future? Are we seeing a disinterest, or is it going to it's going through a kind of a growth or a transitional period?
I definitely think it's going through a bit of a transitional period, and COVID, I think, has forced us to do that. In general, I think once it gets back to normal spectators, to people in the stands, the next Olympics is in Paris, and I think Paris has some really cool things lined up where they're going to be doing, like for example, like sand volleyball at the foot of the Eiffel Tower. I think that'll be pretty neat.
It'll be really cool.
And they're doing on their iconic waterway. I can't think of it now, but they're going to be doing
Parade of Nations is going to be.
Yeah, they're doing the Parade of Nations on that waterway. They're going to be doing some of the swimming events there.
Yeah.
Or some of the rowing events.
High diving, I think.
And I think that's pretty neat.
Yeah.
And so I think that's going to bring a different aspect to what Paris is bringing for venues that will potentially, hopefully, change the landscape of what we're looking for.
Agreed.
So, I think that's one of the really cool things about it.
Yeah. Coming back to Beijing, we have a little bit of drama to talk about. I feel like we should touch on for sure. But real quick, before we do and talk about any other reactions like what we noticed, we got to talk about some medal counts, and especially the juggernauts of the gold medal winners, Norway and Germany. Because Norwegians clearly know how to ski and Nordic ski, and then Germans clearly know how to slide down icy hills. They respectfully...
Norway were 1-2.
Got 16 gold medals. Germany won 12. Total though 37 medals to Norway and 27 to Germany. That's outrageous. But then host nation China still took away 9 gold medals. That fell short. Third most. It fell short in the overall medal count. You have the ROC, Russian Olympic Committee, in there at 32. So that was second place. The U.S. still had a good showing. 8 gold medals, 10 silver, 7 bronze. That's 25 total medals. So that was fourth overall?
Fifth.
Fifth overall. Okay.
I think Canada was up there too.
Okay. They must not have won very many golds.
26.
Gotcha.
4 golds, 8 silvers, 14 bronze.
I see that. Yeah. So, and then you had a few countries there that, did come away. Like, it's always nice to see other nations that you're not, typically on your radar. Spain being one of them. Certainly
Spain is
coming away with silver.
I typically think ever of predominant athletic players outside of soccer. Yeah. Soccer is really all I think of when I think Spain.
And tennis.
Yeah, tennis. Yeah. Spanish dominance when it comes to sports.
A lot of European nations, of course, coming away. Australia did pretty well, considering, they don't have a ton of mountains. New Zealand had 2 golds.
Yeah, New Zealand and Australia, I think, did really well. New Zealand, dominated in the board and ski sports. Mm-hmm. They did really well there. Well, snowboard in particular. They did really, really well. And then so, yeah, I mean, one of my favorite athletes, though,